Alongside his trainer, Khamzat Chimaev has just mocked Dricus du Plessis for his fighting style ahead of their upcoming clash. However, TJ Dillashaw spoke about joining Khamzat Chimaev in camp, saying it was great to be around him and feel the strong energy he brings. He noted that Chimaev had his entire team with him at the Jackson Media House, fully committed to training and supporting him. Dillashaw described intense sessions where Chimaev pushed through hard rounds, doing about 8 rounds of mid-work after grappling practice. He praised Chimaev's excellent grappling skills and said he looked to be in peak condition.
But it's awesome to be next to Chimaev, to feel the energy he's got going on right now. He's got his whole team out here at the Jackson Media House doing his workouts, and everyone's behind him, everyone's supporting him. You can just feel the energy in the room. He's pushing hard rounds. I think he did like 8 rounds of mids after he did grappling. So the guy's in tip-top shape, great grappling techniques he went over, and then, you know, crushed mids. So he's definitely in championship shape already.
Moreover, Michael Bisping recognized Khamzat Chimaev's impressive abilities, but questioned whether his endurance would hold up in a championship fight scheduled for 5 rounds. He suggested that fading as soon as the opening round could spell trouble, especially with Dricus du Plessis likely to push the pace immediately. Bisping warned that without proper conditioning and preparation, Chimaev could find himself at risk of losing to a determined and relentless du Plessis.
He is a very special fighter. However, the cardio could be an issue. Khamzat Chimaev's got a 5-round title fight, and if he does get tired in the first round, as we know, it's going to be a problem because Dricus is going to fight him hard from the opening bell. So if Khamzat Chimaev hasn't done all the necessary training, then Dricus du Plessis will remain the champion.
However, Khamzat Chimaev, standing with his trainer, openly mocked Dricus du Plessis' unorthodox fighting style ahead of their anticipated bout. Laughing during a training session, they exaggerated du Plessis' movements, calling them wild and sloppy. The pair expressed confidence that such techniques would be no match for Chimaev's precision, power, and relentless pressure. Furthermore, Khamzat Chimaev appeared sharp and focused, showing clear improvements in his boxing technique during training. His footwork looked smoother, his punches crisper, and his timing sharper. The progress in his striking game suggests he has been refining his skills to add another dangerous layer to his already dominant arsenal. However, Davey Grant said that if Khamzat Chimaev doesn't finish Dricus du Plessis within the first 2 rounds, the fight likely swings in du Plessis' favor. He described du Plessis' style as unusual and awkward, yet surprisingly effective, and noted hearing that du Plessis is exceptionally large for his weight class.
I think it's obviously, if Khamzat doesn't beat him in the first 2 rounds, then it's got to go to Dricus, I think.
Yeah. Well, what do you think's more likely?
With DDP, you know, he just keeps proving. It's weird because you watch him and like no disrespect to him, but it's like he's got a strange style, you know. But it's sort of like it looks as if it shouldn't, but it does, you know. Like he's yeah. And I've heard I can't remember if I've ever seen him in person, but I've heard he's huge for the weight as well.
Moreover, Demetrius Johnson cautioned Dricus du Plessis and portrayed Khamzat Chimaev as an unyielding grappler whose main priority is maintaining control once he gets a hold of his opponent. He noted that when Chimaev moves in to close the gap, fighters need to be ready with solid takedown defense and a well-rounded skill set. Chimaev methodically works to gain the position he wants, breaks down his rival's stance, changes angles, secures hooks, and delivers strikes until he can finish with a choke or a joint crank. Johnson stressed that Chimaev's approach revolves around non-stop wrestling pressure rather than relying on stand-up exchanges.
When you look at Khamzat, you have to look at him when he jumps on you, you better be ready for the best. You better have the best wrestling, anti-wrestling, and fighting skill ready to rock and roll, because once he locks on, he's going to be looking to go to that position, which I call it home. He's going to sit there and wait, and then he's going to, let's see what you're going to do. Once you start the post, he's going to take out that post. He takes out the post. He's going to jump to the other side, take out the other post, get his hooks in, and beat you up until you give him your neck or neck crank, and he's going to take it. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to do anything on the feet. If he could, he would wrestle all day, every day.
Din Thomas noted that while Khamzat Chimaev displayed grit in his battle with Gilbert Burns, such resilience hasn't been shown consistently, and his outing against Kamaru Usman indicated he eased off after securing early success. He said, Dricus du Plessis is renowned for finding a late surge, particularly in the 5th round, where he refuses to be outworked. Due to this proven stamina and determination, Thomas would lean toward du Plessis if the fight reaches the later stages.
See, I think that comes down to, well, we know that Khamzat has shown to be a dog against Gilbert Burns, you know, so he did that. We haven't seen it often, but we know what it looks like if it gets late with DDP. So I still have to side with, if it's late, I still have to side with DDP, just because we know what he's going to do. We know he's not going to let another human being beat him in the 5th round, right? Like his 5th rounds are just, he really finds another burst of energy to win in the 5th round. So I'm not sure. We've seen it against Gilbert Burns, but we didn't see that with Kamaru Usman. Like we saw him kind of go, yo, I won the first 2, so I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So
he slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah, slow down quite a bit. So I think if it does go late, I would still favor Dricus du Plessis.
Elijah Smith picked Dricus du Plessis to win, noting that his opponent Cosma has been inconsistent and often sidelined by injuries or illnesses. He explained that even when du Plessis seems tired, he actually maintains his strength. Smith and Cosma start strong, but tends to fade in later rounds due to his intense early pace, which could work against him in a 5-round fight. He believes du Plessis' endurance will give him the edge as the fight progresses.
Ooh, I got DDP. I just think, like, Cosma, he's been out for a while. I mean, yeah, I want to say for a while, but he's always in and out. A lot of times he's hurt, or I don't know what's going on. He's sick a lot. And DDP, for some reason, when he looks like he gets tired, he's actually not tired. And he's a strong, good striking, wild guy. And I think Cosma, he comes out in that 1st round pretty strong. But as the fight goes on, I think DDP ends up winning that fight. Just because we've seen Cosma kind of gas out a little bit, get tired in the later rounds, just because he comes out so hard. And it's a 5-round fight, so that also plays a big factor. So we'll see if he comes out those first few rounds super hard, or if he takes his time. That'll be but I have Dricus du Plessis.
Jared Cannonier predicted that Khamzat Chimaev will rely heavily on his wrestling, noting that all bouts begin standing, and that avoiding a knockout is crucial. He suggested that if Dricus du Plessis can channel his unpredictable style, stop the takedowns, and push an exhausted Chimaev, he has a path to victory. Still, Cannonier warned that if Chimaev's grappling dominates early, the contest could be over in the opening round.
Khamzat is going to try to wrestle. He's going to utilize wrestling. One, you don't want to get knocked out, and every fight starts on the feet, but he's going to utilize his wrestling. So I think as long as DDP can harness that chaotic thing that he has, create some chaos and come out victorious, then he can either defend off his takedowns and then put pressure onto a exhausted Khamzat. Or Khamzat is successful and, you get a 1-rounder or something like that.
Drucker Close expressed his confidence that if the bout lasts past 2 rounds, Dricus du Plessis would likely secure the victory. He described du Plessis' unusual and unpredictable style as something that unsettles even experienced fighters. Close said DDP has a knack for pulling opponents into his chaotic and difficult-to-manage fight. When asked where he could place a $10,000 bet, Close immediately backed du Plessis to win.
God damn it. Who do you got in that, Dre?
I think if it goes over 2 rounds, I got DDP, but
if someone's giving you 10K, what are you doing with it?
I'm gonna go DDP.
I think DDP too, dude.
He's awkward. Just when you're not, like, when people are used to, I think, like, even like pros and when we spar amateurs do completely different, and you get hit with like, hey, you're not supposed to go that way, and I kind of see that's how DDP is. It's like he's still kind of green, but
he brings people to his level.
Yeah, like, oh, this is awkward, and then like you're already a step behind.
Though Nickel showed strong confidence in Khamzat Chimaev's chances, largely because of his superior wrestling. Being a wrestler himself, Nickel admitted some partiality but stressed the vital role of wrestling in today's MMA. He mentioned top fighters like Islam Makhachev, Merab Dvalishvili, and Bilal Muhammad, noting their success proves the power of strong grappling. Nickel believes Chimaev fits in that elite group due to his exceptional control through wrestling.
I would, just based on the styles, I just think that the grappling style, I might be biased. I'm definitely biased, but I think the grappling style is so hard to beat, and it's so hard to defend against. And I guess if you look at it from a analytical point of view, you have so many. It's really become the dominant force in the sport. You got Merab, you got Islam, you got Bilal, you got Khamzat. You even have you can even look at Topuria. Obviously, people know he's more of a boxing style, and he does a lot more striking. But his background is wrestling. He did that before anything else, and so it's really wrestlers that are dominating, grapplers that are dominating the sport right now. And so I think that I would give the edge to Khamzat.
Nickel also highlighted the significance of championship rounds, pointing out that although Chimaev appears dominant early, he has yet to prove himself over the full 5 rounds. On the other hand, du Plessis has already demonstrated the ability to keep up his pace in longer fights. Nickel suggested that if the fight extends into later rounds, du Plessis may have an advantage. Nonetheless, because of Chimaev's top-level grappling, Nickel still favors him to win.
But we still have yet to see Khamzat ever fight a 4th and a 5th round. We've seen that from DDP, and so that's where he would have the advantage. If it goes deep, 4th and 5th round, I think that DDP might be able to pull it out. But all in all, I think the grappling style is definitely an overwhelming style to try to deal with.
Robert Whittaker talked about Chimaev's wrestling, explaining that his takedowns are tough to defend because they blend power with precision. At the same time, Whittaker commended du Plessis for his durability and capacity to absorb damage. He mentioned that du Plessis possesses the stamina and mental toughness to withstand early pressure and possibly turn the fight around if it becomes a battle of wills. According to Whittaker, if anyone can survive Chimaev's initial onslaught, it is du Plessis.
Khamzat and DDP, the next fight. Who do you think is going to walk away as the champion?
I can't see anyone really stopping Chimaev's takedowns. His takedowns are so hard to stop. It's super high level. Can DDP drag it into those later rounds? Can it get through the first grappling exchanges and then start to capitalize on his persistence, doggedness to go away? Honestly, if Chimaev can't get DDP out of there, DDP wins. DDP wins almost every fight. You can't get rid of him, right? Because he's like mold, dude.
Kamaru Usman recounted his experience facing Chimaev, emphasizing how dangerous Chimaev becomes when he gains early control and secures the back. He said, escaping is extremely difficult once Chimaev locks in his hold due to his strong grip. Usman questioned whether Chimaev could maintain that level of pressure against someone like du Plessis, who has a different style and brings more unpredictable challenges than his previous opponents.
Khamzat Chimaev on your back round 1 is not easy to get off. And then he was able to sink that in. And that goes to show how strong of a squeeze this freaking dude had.
Could he pull that same style against Dricus du Plessis? Because I will say this.
1000%.
Caio Borralho confessed he had underestimated Dricus du Plessis multiple times before and was proven wrong each time. Looking toward the fight with Khamzat Chimaev, Borralho thinks it might end quickly, possibly in the first or early second round, similar to Chimaev's match against Robert Whittaker. He gave Chimaev a 60% chance of finishing fast, but also saw a 40% chance that du Plessis, with his size, power, and toughness under pressure, could defend takedowns, survive early challenges, and turn the fight in his favor later on.
Bro, this is crazy because I always bet against DDP and he always shut in my mouth. But I'm feeling like this can be a fight as fast as the fight with Khamzat and Whittaker. Like finishing the first round or beginning of the second round, 60% of me say that Khamzat will finish this fight real fast. But 40% says that Dricus, with his size and height and his weight, he's a big guy for the division. I think he can stop the takedowns or even survive the first 2 rounds, and then the fights gets better for him. So I'm 60-40 on these 2 options.
Buhalia further explained that the longer the fight lasts, the more advantage du Plessis gains. He noted Chimaev's aggressive style and early pressure, but said Chimaev tends to slow down if the fight doesn't go his way. In contrast, du Plessis keeps pushing forward even when fatigued, dragging opponents into grueling exchanges and wearing them down. Buhalia believes that after the second round, momentum shifts toward du Plessis.
So the longer the fight goes, the more it favors DDP?
Yeah, for sure, 100%, because Khamzat is the guys that go for it in the bell. He's just go at it, and sometimes if things don't go as the way he planned it, we've seen already he gets a little bit tired in the later rounds. So with a 5-round fight, and Dricus is a guy that even after he gets tired, he's still working. He's still making you go in deep waters and making you work. So I think the fight gets real better to DDP after the second round.
Sean O'Malley expressed excitement for the upcoming du Plessis vs. Chimaev fight, which is just weeks away. He revisited the du Plessis vs. Adesanya bout before training and was impressed by how well Izzy controlled the fight until the 4th round collapse. This reminded O'Malley of du Plessis' danger and made him eager to see how he handles Chimaev.
DDP versus Khamzat. What is that, like 2-3 weeks? Like, holy. I just actually watched DDP versus Israel this morning before practice, and dude, Izzy was looking so good in that fight. Like, I remember watching it and thinking, like, I only had rewatched it just this one time, but watching it live, I remember thinking like Izzy looked good, and I kind of, for the most part, dominating the fight, and then that 4th round just kind of got hit up top on the head and just, you know, went downhill real fast from there. But God, Izzy was looking good in that fight, so I'd like to see Izzy come back. Izzy versus Sean 2 would be sweet, but yeah, Khamzat versus DDP is very exciting for me right now.
Ilia Topuria spoke respectfully about both fighters, describing Chimaev as fierce and dangerous due to his focus on finishing rather than lasting the distance. He didn't pick a winner, but said he's excited for the fight and hopes both men perform at their best. With friends in each camp, Topuria wants the stronger competitor to come out on top and believes their skills will create an exciting contest.
He's the man. He's a savage. He calls his shots. He finishes his opponents. When he goes inside the octagon, you know that guy goes for the finish. He's not looking for the decision. That's why I respect Khamzat. He's a beast. So he deserves to fight for the title as soon as possible. We're gonna have an amazing fight because I love Dricus du Plessis. He's a great human being. I have a great relationship with him. I have a great relationship with Khamzat also. But as a fan of mixed martial arts, it's going to be a very exciting fight. I hope the best man wins, and I wish best of the luck to both of them.
Chael Sonnen challenged the notion that Dricus du Plessis has nothing left to prove. He insisted that in the tough middleweight division, a strong win over Khamzat Chimaev would boost du Plessis into serious pound-for-pound talk. Sonnen mentioned that such a victory could place DDP alongside top fighters like Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, making a top 3 ranking very achievable soon.
Some people feel that Dricus has nothing to prove in this fight. I strongly disagree. I think that the pound-for-pound rankings, I think that Dricus is going to get Imanov, Kyle Brawl. When Izzy Adesanya is one of the guys just floating around, when Whitaker is one of the guys just floating around, it starts to show you how hard a division is, right? Sean Strickland hasn't gone anywhere, and I'm just saying, in a division that tough, I used to be the king of middleweight. I knew middleweights inside and out. Partner, they did not have 10 Anderson Silvas at middleweight, but they do now. And if Dricus can go out and look good and get the win over Chimaev, I just think that ranking, he all of a sudden is going to be flirting with Islam's space and Ilya's space. He's going to be flirting with the top 3. And I think that's the only way that we know how to compliment him in our industry. We give him a belt, we give him a main event, and then we give him a little bit more. And that top 3 placing pound for pound is very within reach right now for Dricus.
Anthony Hernandez predicted du Plessis would shock many. He described Dricus as a big, unconventional fighter who relentlessly presses forward without losing steam. Hernandez noted Chimaev has struggled against smaller, faster fighters and still faces unanswered challenges. He added that when Khamzat is taken down, the fight tends to get tougher for him.
I think DDP is going to surprise the world, man. He's a big... He's awkward. He comes forward. He doesn't get tired. Khamzat gets tired with small guys that were 155ers, you know what I mean, that went up to 170. So I'm still not really sold on him. I know he's good. I know he beat up Robert Whitaker. But like I said, the old is very one-dimensional. They only have one tool. If you can get them to the floor, it usually seems that they have a bad night. And that's just the honest truth of how I've seen it play out.
And that's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about their upcoming fight? Would love to hear your thoughts on their upcoming clash. So share your thoughts in the comment section below and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also, check out our other videos on the screen right now.